Let me start with something honest, something that most videos about statins never actually say. If you ask the average person taking a statin every single day what it is doing inside their body, they will tell you one of a few things. It is cleaning out my arteries. It is fixing my cholesterol. It is protecting my heart. My doctor put me on it so I do not have to worry anymore. And here's the problem. Not one of those statements is fully accurate. And that gap between what people believe statins are doing and what they are actually doing is not a small misunderstanding. It is a gap that shapes how people eat, how much they exercise, how seriously they take other risk factors, and ultimately how their long-term health trajectory unfolds. I have watched that gap cost people their lives in 13 years of emergency medicine. Patients who were genuinely shocked to have a cardiac event because their cholesterol numbers were fine. People who had relaxed their diet, reduced their exercise, stopped worrying because they believed the medication was handling it. This video is about closing that gap. Not to frighten you, not to tell you statins are good or bad, because that binary does not reflect the science or the clinical reality, but to give you the most honest, balanced, evidence-based picture I can of what statins genuinely do, what they genuinely cannot do, and what understanding that distinction could change for your long-term health. My name is Dr. Miles, 13 years in emergency medicine. Let us get into this properly. Before we go further, please subscribe right now and hit the notification bell. This channel exists to give you the clinical picture that a 7-minute appointment simply cannot deliver. Hit subscribe. Now let's dive into the details. First, what statins are actually doing inside your body. Because once you understand the mechanism, everything else in this video will make complete sense. Statins work by blocking an enzyme in your liver called HMG-CoA reductase. That enzyme is responsible for producing cholesterol. When you inhibit it, your liver produces less cholesterol. That is the first effect, and the one most people know about. But the second effect is arguably more important and far less understood. When your liver detects that cholesterol levels are falling, it responds by increasing the number of LDL receptors on its surface. These receptors act like collection points, pulling LDL cholesterol out of your bloodstream and into the liver for processing. The result is that circulating LDL cholesterol goes down, often significantly and relatively quickly. Now here's where the critical misunderstanding begins. When LDL in the blood drops, most people assume the cholesterol that has already been causing damage simply disappears. It does not. Statins do not scrub out your arteries. They do not reliably reverse established plaque in any meaningful way. What they do is reduce the exposure your artery walls have to LDL cholesterol going forward. Less new damage, slower progression, and in many cases, greater stability of plaques that are already present, making them less likely to rupture and trigger the clot that causes a heart attack or stroke. The line I want you to hold on to is this. Statins do not repair damage. They reduce future damage. That is a fundamentally different proposition, and it changes everything about how you should think about what this medication is actually offering you. What statins are genuinely good at, because the evidence here is real and I will not minimize it. In people with established cardiovascular disease, meaning those who have already had a heart attack, a stroke, a TIA, or who have confirmed atherosclerosis, statins reduce the risk of another event and reduce cardiovascular death. The evidence for this is among the strongest in all of cardiovascular medicine. In people with sufficiently high baseline risk, statins also meaningfully reduce the likelihood of a first event. The Cholesterol Treatment Trialist Collaboration, one of the largest analyses ever conducted in this field, showed approximately a 22% reduction in major vascular events for every 1 millimole per liter reduction in LDL cholesterol across more than 170,000 participants. That is not a small signal. Those are real lives protected. Beyond cholesterol reduction, statins also appear to stabilize existing plaques. Plaques are not static structures. They can rupture. And when they rupture, they trigger clots that cause the cardiac events that arrive in my department. Statins appear to reduce inflammation within those plaques, making them less volatile and less likely to rupture. That plaque stabilizing effect is an important benefit that operates independently of cholesterol reduction alone. So when people say statins save lives, they are not wrong. In the right person, at the right dose, for the right reason, statins clearly reduce cardiovascular events. The problem is not the medication. The problem is what people expect it to do, beyond what it was ever designed to do. Now, what statins cannot do, and this list is longer than most people realize. Statins do not reverse existing atherosclerosis in any reliable or significant way. There are imaging studies suggesting modest regression in specific circumstances with high-intensity therapy, but this is not the norm, and it is not something you should build your expectations around. Statins do not fix insulin resistance. In fact, there is consistent evidence that statins modestly increase the risk of developing type 2 diabetes, particularly at higher doses and in people who are already close to the diagnostic threshold. For someone at high cardiovascular risk, the benefit clearly outweighs this, but it is a real trade-off that deserves acknowledgement and discussion. Statins do not lower blood pressure. They do not improve your fitness. They do not reduce visceral fat. They do not address chronic systemic inflammation driven by poor diet, sedentary behavior, and disrupted sleep. And they absolutely do not compensate for smoking, chronic stress, insulin resistance, or the metabolic dysfunction that underlies most cardiovascular disease in the modern world. This is where I want you to hold a specific mental image. Cardiovascular disease is not a single-lane road. It is a multi-lane highway. LDL cholesterol is one lane, but there is also chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, elevated blood pressure, endothelial dysfunction, oxidative stress, visceral fat, poor sleep, chronic stress, sedentary behavior. Statins operate almost exclusively in one of those lanes. If the other lanes remain wide open, your overall cardiovascular risk remains substantially elevated, regardless of what your LDL number shows. This is precisely why someone can be on a statin, have excellent cholesterol numbers, and still have a heart attack. It is not that the statin failed. It is that the statin was never designed to address the other drivers of the disease. And when patients do not understand this, they either lose faith in the medication entirely, or, more commonly and more dangerously, they assume the medication is enough and stop addressing everything else. What statins take away? And I want to be completely direct about this. Beyond the side effect profile, which I will come to, statins can take away something more subtle and more consequential. They can take away the urgency that drives the lifestyle changes that matter most. I have seen this pattern repeatedly in clinical practice. A patient is told their cholesterol is high. They are started on a statin. Their numbers improve at the 3-month review. Their doctor is satisfied. And quietly, almost imperceptibly, the motivation to change diet, to exercise consistently, to address sleep, to manage stress begins to fade. The medication becomes the solution, and the solution stops the search for anything further. The problem is that the medication was only ever addressing one lane. The other lanes, the ones that statins cannot touch, continue contributing to risk while the patient believes they are covered. On the direct side effect question, the most commonly reported side effect is muscle pain or weakness, which varies significantly between individuals, between different statins, and between different doses. Switching statins or adjusting dose often helps, but some people genuinely do not tolerate them well, and that is a legitimate clinical reality. There is the modest but real increase in type 2 diabetes risk I mentioned earlier. Some people report fatigue, brain fog, or digestive symptoms. The evidence on these is more mixed, but subjective experience matters. If a medication consistently makes you feel worse, that deserves a proper conversation with your doctor rather than dismissal. Statins are a trade. You receive a reduction in cardiovascular risk, specifically in the LDL exposure lane, in exchange for small increases in other risks and the possibility of side effects. For high-risk individuals, that trade is well justified by the evidence. For lower-risk individuals, it requires a genuinely individualized conversation that takes your full health picture into account. When statins genuinely make sense, and when they do not, the clearest case for statins is secondary prevention. If you have already had a cardiac event, the evidence is overwhelming and I would not hesitate in recommending them. They also make clear sense in people with very high baseline risk, familial hypercholesterolemia, multiple converging risk factors, or established atherosclerosis confirmed on imaging. What does not make sense is using statins as a substitute for metabolic health. If someone is sedentary, eating a diet high in ultra-processed food, carrying significant visceral fat, sleeping poorly, and under chronic unmanaged stress, a statin will reduce one of their risk factors while the others continue operating unchecked. That is not a treatment plan. That is a partial response to a multi-system problem. Statins also make sense when genuine lifestyle optimization has been applied consistently and LDL remains elevated despite those efforts. That is a very different clinical situation from prescribing a statin as a first response before the lifestyle conversation has even been had. The reframe I want you to leave with: statins are powerful, they are limited, and they are situational. They are powerful because they reliably reduce LDL exposure and lower cardiovascular event rates in the populations where the evidence is strongest. They are limited because they do not reverse existing disease, do not address all cardiovascular risk factors, and come with real trade-offs. They are situational because whether they make sense depends on your baseline risk, your broader metabolic health, what you have already addressed through lifestyle, and an honest conversation about what you are actually trying to achieve. The mistake is thinking in absolutes. Statins do not make you healthy. They make high risk less dangerous. And understanding that distinction, truly understanding it, is what allows you to use this medication appropriately, to have the right expectations, and to continue addressing the factors that no pill has ever been designed to touch. Lower cholesterol numbers are progress. Progress is not the same as protection. Keep working on the other lanes. If this video gave you something genuinely useful, please subscribe and hit the notification bell right now. This channel exists to translate 13 years of emergency medicine into the honest, balanced, evidence-based information that a standard appointment simply does not have time to deliver. Hit subscribe. Share this with someone who has been told their cholesterol is fine and believes that means their heart is fine, because the number is not the whole story. And now you know why. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.